Hello friends, this is James, the brother of Roxanne, and today, I'm going to recap the 2023 action-adventure drama anime called Vinland Saga Season 2 Episode 3. But before that, it's my humble request to every person who is watching this. Please like this video and share it with your friends. It will only take a second for you guys to like this video. But for us, it will help this video reach out to more people, and make us get more views on our channel. At the fortress, warriors are locked in fierce combat as onlookers cheer them on. Omar sits at a nearby table, drinking with his comrades Fox and Badger. In his drunken state, he complains that nobody understands him. Fox tries to console him, saying that being 16 and stuck between being a child and a man can be tough. But Omar's anger grows, and he demands another drink while accusing Fox and Badger of secretly laughing at him. Fox and Badger exchange worried glances, realizing that Omar is becoming increasingly unstable. Omar unsheathes his sword and rages that Fox and Badger think they have the right to look down on him, despite being nothing more than guards and pets of his father. Fox calmly points out that they are guests, not servants, and that they make a living by their swords. Omar sneers, asking if Fox has ever even fought in battle. Fox coolly replies that the village is peaceful and almost boring, but that doesn't mean he isn't skilled. Enraged, Omar challenges Fox to draw his sword and fight him, but Fox simply kicks the table between them, knocking Omar to the ground. Fox points his sword at Omar's face, still holding his drinking horn in the other hand. He reminds Omar that they make a living by the sword and that Omar should be careful what he wishes for. But instead of fighting, Omar starts to cry and begs Fox to just kill him. Fox and Badger are caught off guard by Omar's outburst. The other men in the fortress begin to mock them for making Omar cry. Fox tells them to be quiet and reminds them not to tell Snake, the leader of their group. Fox and Badger are unsure of what to do next. Fox had thought that by drinking and socializing with Omar, they could gain favor with the Kettle family, but things have not gone as planned. Fox approaches Omar and tells him that he understands that Omar wants to be treated like an adult, not a child. However, Fox cannot blame the other men for treating him as such, since Omar is still just a young boy. Badger interrupts and tells Fox that he should be trying to cheer Omar up. Fox agrees and continues to talk to Omar. He explains that in order to become a man, Omar needs to go through a rite of passage, something that can be done today or tomorrow. Fox piques Omar's interest by telling him that the rite of passage is the experience of taking someone's life. Fox explains that by doing so, Omar will learn how fragile the human body is and gain a sense of power and dominance. Omar starts to ask who he could kill and Fox tells him that they can set him up with the appropriate beginner's material. As there are people on the farm who Omar is allowed to kill, Einar wakes up feeling famished after a deep slumber. He stretches his limbs as he prepares for another day of hard work on the farm. As he steps outside to relieve himself, he is startled by Thorfinn's sudden screams. He rushes back into the barn to find Thorfinn sitting up in his bed, gasping for air. Einar shakes Thorfinn awake and asks him what's wrong. Thorfinn tells him that he had a terrible nightmare, but he can't remember any details. Einar advises him to wash his face and forget about the dream, as it's best to let it go. Together, the two men leave the barn and begin their day of work on the farm. As they walked towards the well, Einar couldn't help but notice the blonde woman he had seen before with Kettle, now washing her face at the edge of the well. She greeted him with a good morning, and Einar stumbled to respond in kind. She gestured for them to go ahead and wash their faces. As she had finished, Einar politely told her to take her time, as it didn't matter if he washed a face like his. The woman smiled and complimented him, saying she thought he had a wonderful face. Einar, flustered, asked if she was feeling well, to which she replied that it was just her heart. Thorfinn, who was washing his face at the well, couldn't help but wonder why his own heart was beating so fast. He had a feeling that there was something important in his dream that he couldn't quite remember. The woman introduced herself to Einar as Arnheid and asked if he was the new arrival at the farm. Einar confirms to Arnheid that he is from England and is surprised by her assumption that he was Nordic like her. Einar explains that his hometown was founded by people of Nordic descent, so the majority of the inhabitants, including himself, spoke both English and Norse fluently. Arnheid is impressed by his language skills, despite his accent. Arnheid clarifies her status as a slave, and Einar, startled by her politeness, realizes he had mistaken her for the master's daughter. Einar apologizes for his assumption and learns that Arnheid is actually Ketil's personal maid. As Einar and Thorfinn approach the stables, they are greeted by Fox and Badger who have just arrived on horseback. Fox looks around the area and asks if the slaves are discussing escape plans and who Thorfinn is. Thorfinn introduces himself while Badger turns to Einar and asks if he's a slave too, as he doesn't recognize him. Einar introduces himself and mentions he just started working at the farm. Fox then tells Thorfinn and Einar to come with him. They follow, unsure of what to expect. Einar discreetly asks Thorfinn who the men are, as they're carrying swords and could be dangerous. Thorfinn tells him they are guests, bodyguards who live at the farm to keep it safe. Einar wonders if they'll have them do something difficult, and gets giddy thinking about Arnheid complimenting his face. Fox notices Einar's excitement and asks him what has him so happy. Einar replies that it's nothing, but Fox, smiling, says Einar and Thorfinn look perfect for the job. Einar and Thorfinn nervously approach the fortress, unsure of what to expect. As they enter, they are met with the sight of Olmar, the son of the farm's owner, wielding a sword. Fox, one of the guards, instructs Olmar to swing the sword at Einar and Thorfinn. Incensed, Einar yells out in anger, asking why they must die for no reason. Fox coldly replies that their lives are not their own and that it is up to the farm's owner to do as he pleases with his possessions. He even goes so far as to say that it should be considered an honor to be killed by the young master. Einar defiantly declares that they belong to Olmar's father, not him, and warns that there will be consequences if he kills them. Olmar seems uncertain, and Fox taunts him, asking if he is afraid of his father or if he lacks the courage to take a life. Determined, Einar tells Thorfinn to run away and charges towards Olmar, tackling him to the ground. Thorfinn hesitates, unsure of what to do as the situation escalates. Einar urges him to go get help from their master, Ketil, but Thorfinn remains rooted in place. Suddenly, two men step forward and block Thorfinn's path, crossing their swords in front of him and ordering him to stay still and watch the altercation. Thorfinn, feeling a sense of resignation, tells them they only need one person to be sacrificed and offers himself up instead, begging them to spare Einar and return him to work. A dark-haired man awakens in a small cabin, his head throbbing from the night before. He groggily calls out for the old man who lives with him, but there is no response. He notices an empty bowl and cooking kettle on the table and realizes that breakfast has yet to be made. Frustrated, he steps outside and calls out for the old man again, who is working in a nearby field. The old man gruffly tells him to come help with the harvest once he's eaten and that he can fend for himself when it comes to breakfast. The dark-haired man grumbles to himself, contemplating going back to bed instead. As the sword is pressed against his throat, Thorfinn remains calm and collected. He suggests that Olmar can go ahead and kill him, but that it would be a waste of valuable time and resources on a busy day. Einar, locked in a struggle with Olmar, is briefly caught off guard by Thorfinn's words. Olmar takes the opportunity to deliver a swift kick to Einar's stomach and runs off. Fox, intrigued by Thorfinn's bravery and composure, asks him his name and if he truly understands the gravity of his situation. Thorfinn coolly responds that he does, and that he is prepared to accept his fate. Fox goes on to explain that they must weigh the value of the commodity they deal in, and inquires as to what Thorfinn believes that commodity to be. When Thorfinn replies that he does not know, Fox explains that they deal in death. He tells him that death is something that everyone fears, but that there is value in it nonetheless. Fox lunges at Thorfinn with his sword, slicing his tunic and drawing blood. Thorfinn remains unfazed, but Fox notes that he can sense the fear within him. Suddenly, a dark-haired man arrives at the fortress, hearing the commotion from the yard and curious as to what the guests are up to. As they stood in the courtyard, Fox continuously swung his sword at Thorfinn, cutting into his flesh as Einar, restrained and helpless, cried out for him to stop. Fox taunted Thorfinn, telling him to beg for his life and to come to terms with the fact that he was going to die. A dark-haired man, passing by, was horrified at the sight, and couldn't believe that Thorfinn wasn't flinching even as Fox cut him across the cheek. Thorfinn asked Fox why death should be feared and what was so great about living, when all that he had experienced so far in life was misery. Fox, in anger, sliced off the tip of Thorfinn's left ear. The dark-haired man intervened, yelling at Fox to stop. Olmar, recognizing the man as Snake, sheepishly asked him when he had returned. Snake approached Fox and punched him in the face, demanding an explanation from Badger for what was happening. And this brings the anime to an end. Comment for part 4. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss out on another video. Until next time, take care.